Hey flosstube, welcome to my channel, Keep It Simple Stitcher. I wanted to try to do a stitch with me, but I am no professional by any stretch of the imagination, and I can't quite figure out the right, camera stand setup, something that's comfortable for me where I'm not trying to look down through the camera to do the stitching. So I figured out a little something today. I'm going to try it and see if it works. So right now I'm working on a Joy Sunday stamped kit. And I'm going to be working on these little red crosses right here, which is another green. There's a lot of green in this one. Oh, there's my dog growling. See, I always forget. I always start to do floss tubes and stitch with me's, and I always forget why. But then my dog starts growling and I go, oh yeah, that's why. So this is an 11 count and I'm working with 3 strands. Cubby. I have at times been able to stitch in hand with this, but some days my stitch in hand game is on and some days it is not, and my stitches look crazy and uneven, and so then I switch to a hoop. I think I always get better results with a hoop, but stitching in hand is so much fun when you're in the zone. I don't know, for some reason I can't always be in the zone. So I've wanted to do a floss tube. I've tried a couple of times and I just don't seem to have, I don't have a lot of haul. I do have lots of patterns and lots of projects to work on, probably enough for the rest of my life without purchasing a penny of another craft supply. But I do like watching people stitch with me. So I thought maybe this is how I can join the fun. I've been lurking floss tube for maybe 7 or 8 years now. I don't know how long it's been around. But I've gone through several stages of watching everybody's floss tube, allowing myself to feel influenced, buying all the patterns and supplies, to the point where I say I have bought too many patterns and supplies. So then I would delete everybody off my Instagram and YouTube feed, so I would not watch their videos and become tempted to purchase more things. So then I would kind of go easy on myself again and say, why did I do that? And then I'd add everybody back to my feed and just go through the cycle all over again. So just recently, actually this year, I made that commitment. I make this commitment about every year where I say, no more new stuff. Like, I'm going to work on the projects that I have and finish some things before I actually start buying new things. And I was doing pretty good this year. But I guess it was about 2 weeks ago, I broke down, did a big order from biggestcraft, and I'm waiting for that to get here. It looks like it's in Georgia right now, so maybe in a couple of days it will be on my doorstep. I do counted cross stitch, but I've been doing a lot of stamped cross stitch lately because I just don't seem to have the mental bandwidth to work on some of my counted projects. I guess I'm under some stress. And when I'm stressed, I just need to go through the motions. I can't focus on a chart, especially like a complicated chart with like full coverage and lots of confetti. And I usually stitch on 14 count. I don't stitch on anything below that. I've tried. My eyes and my patience just can't take it. I used to not like these stamped kits because I really never felt like the aesthetic was there that I liked. There's a lot of high fantasy and landscapes, and I just don't typically reach for those things. I felt the same way about diamond painting when that came on the scene, because everybody said, you know, hey, it's like cross stitch but with these dots, and it goes faster. And I did a couple of diamond paintings, and I really liked them, but the drawbacks for me are those dots are really messy, easy to spill. I have cats, so that like sticky paper was just not working for me. And I'm not the type of person to tie up my animals while I'm crafting. I want my animals sitting right next to me, if that's what they want, and stitching away comfortably and quietly with my old puppy next to me or my kitty cat purring. I really enjoy having my animals with me when I craft. So any crafts that can't be managed with pets is out for me. But anyhow, back to the diamond painting. They were fun. Just those dots were messy. And I also was not digging the aesthetic that I was seeing. However, over the years, I can see that the diamond painting companies are expanding their aesthetic a little bit. And I do see some things there that I actually like. And then pretty much the same thing happened with the stamped cross stitch. And I was very anti-stamped cross stitch. I don't know why. I guess I really tended to like the more primitive looking counted cross stitches. I'm kind of all over the place, but I really, I like Barbara Anna. I like Prairie Schooler. I like Plum Street. And you can't find that look, that style in stamped cross stitch. But I don't know what made me break down and just buy one. Probably stress. I probably said, hey, this will be something I can just do and not have to think about, not have to focus, not have to plan. I can just pick it up and pick a color and start stitching. And I really do love these kits. Everything is with them. You have all your threads already sorted on a card. Everything is sort of like not code coordinated. You find your symbol. It's always on the bottom of the fabric down here. And you pick it off your already pre-sorted card like that. And you can just go to town. And it's very relaxing. I kind of thought 11 count was just going to be too... It was just going to be too big. I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be too big, too pixelated. But quite honestly, there's more choice in the 11 count kits. They're starting to print more 14 count and even some 16 and 18 count. I'm kind of curious about that though, because I do have a 14 count kit that I'm working on right now. And whereas this on 11 count is very, the squares, the symbols inside the squares are very clear, very clean. There's no blurring or crossover. On my 14 count, there's a little blurring or overlap. I don't know how they make these things. I assume they put them through a big printer. And, if it's even just like 1 millimeter off, it's going to bleed into the next square. Fortunately, these kits come with amazing paper charts that you can follow if there's ever any confusion or if you get it wet, or simply if you just wanted to stitch it on something smaller. You get, honestly, what I do if I get some fabric that I don't want to stitch on, and I've ordered a couple of kits where I'm like, why in the crap did I order this? Like, this is the stupidest thing. So I actually took those huge pieces of fabric. They were 14 count Adas, and I just soaked them in water to get the print off. And now I have a very nice big piece of fabric that I can use for something else. But I did the design on a different piece of fabric. Because here's another thing. The backgrounds on these things are always white. That I can see so far. And some of them, I mean, they'll send you a bajillion hanks of floss to completely fill in the background in a different color, and sometimes I'm just really not down for that. So I will just stitch it on a fabric in the color of my choosing, just so I don't have to do a million white stitches for a background or something. But yeah, a couple of years ago, if you had said that I would be into stamped kits, I would have said, no way, never. And now it's just my go-to. Now, before I was doing the stamped kits, I was actually getting into counted cross-stitch kits. Prior to that, I was I don't know what you call it, just a build your own, you know. I would kit everything up myself. I'd buy a pattern, and I'd buy fabric from somewhere else, and I'd buy the threads separately, and which you know, you have to do that with a lot of patterns. But then I started getting a little interested in the dimensions kits, so I bought a dimensions kit and started working on it, and I was like, oh, this is so awesome, everything's just right here in the bag. I'll tell you, the first dimensions kit I did, whew, that was a doozy. That had full stitches, half stitches, blended stitches, quarter stitches. It had metallic thread. It had beads. I was not familiar with that chart. Like when it would say, well, you're going to mix 2 threads of this color and 1 thread of this color, and then you're going to do a tent stitch instead. You know, it took me a couple of mistakes to actually learn how to read that chart. It was also, why is this stuck? It was also a full coverage piece, and I have no idea why this will not go through. There we go. It was a full coverage piece, even though it was tiny, like the size of a sheet of paper, maybe. But it took me forever to finish that kit. Forever. It had confetti. I basically didn't know what I was getting myself into. I guess I thought because it was a kit that it would be easier or easy, simple to you know, I don't know. But just because it's a kit does not mean it's easy. It just means everything's included, which is handy enough. Honestly, I didn't always like the aesthetic of the dimensions kits, but I think I started liking some of them because I saw other people liking them and doing floss tube reviews on them. And so, whatever, I got influenced. I bought a few kits. And then after that, I kind of started my segue into stamp kits. I had always wanted to do a Haid, but I think I know my limitations. I think one of these stamped kits is as close to like something that is that big and full coverage than that I will ever get to in my entire life. I think I have learned. Oh no. So I got a little knot in my... Who knows how that got there. As far as Stitch With Me videos, I really liked watching, she's called Stitching Dreamer, and she did some amazing stuff. I haven't seen if she's been current lately with her videos, but she did some counted, she did some stamped. But I loved watching her videos and the variety of projects that she worked on. Another one is Stitching with Laura. I think she does primarily stamped kits. Seems like she posts something about every day. And then there's I think like Lovecraft Forever and Stitch With Me Daily and Stitcherella. You know, a lot of people do more haul and unboxings than they do like actual Stitch With Me's. And that's all great. I've bought many kits just because they've previewed them. Who's another one? Boogie Stitcher. But they kind of do the hard work of reviewing these kits, so the rest of us don't have to be disappointed or surprised at what we get. Because if you haven't already ordered from some of these companies, they are coming from overseas, and it takes a good 2-3 weeks for your stuff to arrive. So for me, honestly, I'm like, if it takes that long and then I get the product and I'm disappointed in it, I can't imagine what the return process would be like. So I'm actually happy that other people do that first. But it was from them that I learned that, you know, certain companies render the images better. Certain companies do lots of colors, and the more colors you have, the more detailed the design is going to look. I usually like to end with a pin stitch. There. So I'll end it here. I'm 26 minutes in, and one length of a color is done. So I think that's a pretty good stopping point. So I hope to do more of these, and I hope to see you guys around. Bye.